Good morning. My God, good morning. I'm telling you, what a time to be alive in the Lord. It's a great day. Hey, welcome to a Spiritual Warriors table. It is a good start today, and I'm like, okay, I'm excited about what God is doing and how He is doing it. It is just a good time today. It is July the 3rd. 2025. All right, to all the July babies, I want to say happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I was about to become very frustrated at one time. I was getting real frustrated because the month that began, and I said, oh, I got some things I had not done. And you know how that can get, and you have to talk to yourself. And I said, no, I'm not going to go through all of this. Not today. No more frustration. There's no need to getting frustrated about some things you can't do anything about, but complete the task. Okay, so I said, all right, let me get busy about trying to do that. And I just wanted, then I got stuck on something that someone said to me earlier. I want to make sure I can get that information to them. And I got a couple of information I got to drop off to Gloria Herring, who I thank God for, the Whistling Prophetess. Okay, Sharon Fritz. There she goes. We are praying today for some people. I'm praying for Doreen and Bayonne because I know this has got to be a hard time for her. You all that know the words of prayer, reach out to her today. Won't you reach out? I feel the need to tell you, please reach out. You know Doreen from Bayonne, those of you all, please reach out to her and encourage her heart today. I just need for you to say, okay, let me check on her. Let me see how she's doing. Reach out to her. Send her a word of encouragement, because this is a trying time. I just felt led to say that because she's truly a trooper, and she did lose her sister not too long ago, within like the last 3 weeks, and it's fresh. And they were partners. Let me tell you, they were real partners. And so I asked that you pray for her, and I just feel that if you would pray for her, call her name out, get ready. Don't forget, we're getting ready for the countdown. It's already getting ready for July the 9th, everybody's going to be coming into the Poconos. We're getting it all together. We got some people trying to get here by train, and I got to figure out how to get them to that place where they can meet and get their cars and stuff if they're coming into Newark. But that's a little bit of a haul, but we're going to try to see how we can get that going for them. But I'm so excited about what God is doing, and I'm excited about you today. The prayer call with Elder Standback was awesome. Just hearing the laughter again of Bishop Long. I know he's gone on to be with the Lord, but I just could hear him, and I can remember he's a jokester. Okay. And I just thought about it. He said it's time to live. And it is time for us to live. And even through his time of pain, and he was in a lot of pain at times, he was still laughing. He was still pushing jokes. Or he would say to me, Pearman, I don't feel like that today. And then I said, all right, then if that's what you want to do. He said, don't do that to me. You know not to do that to me. I was just saying that, but what do you got to say? And I would say something that would be an uplift. Now, sometimes I knew he couldn't laugh as hard, but I would say something that would give him a little uplift to keep him going, because we all need something that will encourage our hearts, because you don't have to be sick to be in pain. Sometimes the situation that we're in, the event that we are handling, the circumstances that we're dealing with can be painful, and we can be at a place of we don't need to hear any laughter. It just seems like you're just down. But if someone is walking with you and talking with you, they can give you some point of inspiration to let you know you're not in it by yourself. And so today I want to tell somebody you're not in it by yourself. You're at that place now where you're going to turn north. And I want to deal with that for a moment. I'm telling you that right now. I'm dealing with it for a moment. I want you to get this in your spirit. I'm looking forward to the people that are coming for July the 9th. All of you, I'm lifting my hands for safe travels, and that you get here safely, and that your plane ride is safe. All of those things, that God give us the time that we need to have together, and that you're willing to share, okay? Some people, when they get you to talk, they want to hog up all your time. I want them, he's going to give me hours and hours. No, if you just allow me and allow some people that I have that will minister to you, God will meet that need. That's what it's about. Just relax. When you come relaxed. God's going to minister to you. And some he's going to minister to you out minister to you before anyone even gets to you. If they get to you, for some reason, some of you don't need nobody to even do, you just need to get where you can hear what God is doing, hear the word for your life, and allow God to just move in your life, and he's going to do the rest. I feel that in my spirit. Okay, so it's one of those things. So we're talking about turning north. It's going to be a blueprint for your maturity, going deeper into it. And I always want to talk about the why, the when, and the how of it. You know what's out of Deuteronomy 2, verse 3, you have circled this mountain long enough, now turn north. Now you're turning north to come to the mountain because there's some things that God needs to release in you. You're going to understand why we said, Lord, give us this mountain. You know, let's take the mountain for the Lord, because there's a whole lot that God has in store for you when you get here on July the 9th. Now, July 9th, that Wednesday night at 7 p.m. I'm going to start at 7. Thank you so much for someone reminding me. At 7, we're going to start at 7. It's going to be an opening night. You don't want to miss the opening night. That's the first night service we have. And that's open to everybody. Everybody can come to the night service at 7 p.m. Wednesday night. Then Thursday is a session for class. You need to be registered for the class. And that's going to be with none other than Bishop Maxine Collier. And she's going to minister as the Spirit of the Lord lead and give utterance unto her. And I know it's going to, I feel that anointing right there. And she's going to come forward in her own way. And she's a very powerful woman. If you haven't had a chance to hear her, get ready for what God is going to do with her. And then she's going to be in there that morning, and we're going to have an early afternoon. And then you're going to have all Thursday to yourself to travel up and down the road. They got an outlet center up the highway you can go to, so you can be able to just take advantage of that day. I believe you should have some time to yourself to rest and to be able to say, okay, I'm going to relax, take advantage of it. And then Friday, we hit the ground running. That's when we are going to the mountaintop. Rain or shine, I got something for you, okay? That Friday morning, and we're going to get all those things together Friday morning. And Friday afternoon, we have an early session Friday morning, early break on Friday afternoon. And then we're going to come back Friday night. That's going to be some service. Friday night is open again to the public. You don't want to miss that. And then Saturday, God knows we're going to be able to do the baptism. And we're going to get that in early in the morning, Saturday morning. And I'll give you more details about that in next week. So I'm excited about what God is doing right there. And we're just going to do, I just lift my hands and give God praise for what he's doing. And so I'm excited about that. And I'm looking forward to just the move of God and how he's moving and what he's going to do. It is a blessing. It is a blessing indeed for what he's doing. And so therefore I want to just say that's how God shall move. That's how God shall cause movement in the kingdom, and you're a part of that movement. And so it's important, if you can get here, come on. Just come on. Somebody told me, I'll be there. I'm going to get there that day. I said, that's fine. Just come on. Friday, you don't want to miss. Thursday morning, you don't want to miss. But Friday, you don't want to miss either. It's going to be a combination that's going to blow your mind. And so we want to look forward to seeing you there and watch God move. You're going to leave coming back with something very, very important. All right. So I want to talk about that prophetic blueprint. And what I want to get you into about this turning north, first of all, if you have enjoyed turning north, they're talking about the part of where the circle has been, we've circled this mountain long enough, and it really has ministered to you. I need you to put in 23. I'm using that for Psalms 23. If that has really blessed you and you're gaining information, because I got something I want to present to you. Ooh, black cherry almond. Ooh. Every time I do that, I think about Wortham. She's so funny. Okay. Now, the reason I'm here, somebody said I stayed a little longer than I normally do, is because I need for you to understand in this season of your life, there are some things that God is doing, especially in this month of July, the 7th month. It's very important. a midpoint, midway, and just a little bit over. You're past the 6-month part, and now it's about reflecting and seeing, going over and evaluating what you have done, looking over your, looking over the chart of what you have charting, what you've completed, what you know you may need to complete, what you may need to leave alone, and where you need to continue to move on. Okay? And I have something for you. I think you're going to really like this as we continue to go on. I thank you for putting that in. Now I want to get you all to get your people to come on and join. Now, as I'm looking here today, from Alan to Sloan to Helena, I'm telling you there's something that is breaking in your household. I don't know if it's on one side. I don't know if we would say the husband's side, your side, but there's something that's breaking on both sides of the household. And I mean, it's moving in the family structure. And I felt that, and it's in me right now. It's quickening me like an overpowering thing. It's just overpowering me with God breaking. It's breaking. And if it makes sense to you, put a 25 in, because that means that God is not only completing a task, He's gracing you and has been gracing you for over the last year and a half in this situation. Because it doesn't have nothing, it only impacts you, but it's been on the other side of the family. But it's impacts you because you're a part of the structure, but it's not directly you. You know what I'm saying? Oh, let me get straight here. I got to get it together. Whew, that was good. Okay, Lord. All right. And so there are things that are turning for people on here, really turning. And it's turning, and people are trying to, you're really getting things in order. And you're seeing that this is working for you. Whew. I feel that thing hit me in the top of my head. Okay, I felt like, how Emily be going? That's how I felt just now. All right. So you have circled this mountain long enough. Now turn north. You're in the now season of your life. Okay. Thank you, Helena. You're in the now of your life. People, you need to say it. I'm in the now of my life. Even for those, you have one of my members, she's in school, back in school, but that's the now of her life. And so you're in the now of your life. I don't know if Betty Carter's on here, but if she is, I hope she makes herself known. Yeah, and the now, I think I saw Apostle Crosby on. You definitely are in the now. Forgive me for pointing, but you and your wife are definitely in the nows of your life. The nows of your life. You've circled the mountain long enough. You're in the now turn north. Oh boy, let me take a drink. Ooh, this is something hitting in the top of my head. Good Lord. Okay, I don't have no hair in the back of my head. I don't want to lose whatever I got around it. Black cherry almond. Ooh. Okay, so as you are in this now part of your life, people, especially Apostle and some others, this now is very important to you. Now is very important because you have to move now. If all you're doing is making steps, writing plans out, reevaluating what you have written already, going through what you have accomplished or have not accomplished, but may need to be put on hold because you need to move to your next. Okay, this is getting, it's all right. So why is that important? Because delay had become a pattern for some of us, and God was calling His people out of stagnation and into possession. You're not going to be in stagnation. Now you're about to be in possession. I will possess my promise. I will lay hold on the promise. I will lay hold on that God has given me. It was in my mindset. Now I'm going to literally walk it out. Okay? I'm going to walk it out. Oh, boy. All right. I need for you all to get on there. Tell those that are on our tubers, come on, come on. I can tell it's time to get on there. Reach out to them. Let them know we're on because they are faithful to this and there's a word for them. Amen. Those of you on Facebook do the same thing. Get ready for them. So it is because delay has become a pattern for some of us in some areas, and I mean that, and I don't leave myself out. Stop the madness, okay? That we understand that when we begin to do this, something is going to take place. You need to scream out when. After 38 years of wandering at the end of a cycle, 40 years now, it was a kairos moment of transition. 40 years in the wilderness, 38 years, the man at the pool of Bethesda, the one with the issue of blood, all of those things that took place. So of wandering, just trying to figure out what's going on. But when you come to the end of a cycle, it becomes a kairos moment of transition. So most of us, let me just say about 90% of us on here are in that moment that we recognize that we're in a moment of transitioning. Okay, we're transitioning. Some people refuse to do what's right. So I'm not going to deal with you. We're not going to even deal with that. Because you'd rather sit here and hem and haw and find fault with everything that's going on instead of saying, I know there's some things I must transition out of, starting with myself, starting with my own lack of obedience, starting with the fact that the delay that has taken place is because I've been disobedient in other areas. I need to look at that. I need to know that God has been trying to bring me out of procrastination. I've stood there procrastinating. It was not the enemy. The enemy had nothing to do with it. It was me. Okay? So you don't mind staying there because you like to bring everybody else into your party. But there are things you got to take and say, okay, this is my thing. So those of them want to stay there, and I'm saying this to you, as I heard the word today, Bishop Long was so funny, even though he's going on to be with the Lord, but we're doing Throwback Thursday. It's time for you to live. So if you're now going to turn north, this means you're going to live. Let's move from stagnation. Let's move from procrastination. You're a gamer, you're a podcaster, whoever you are. I'm trying to cover everything that I know now. Okay? You're sitting there waiting on something. Get started. I was looking at this thing, and I got to buy this mic to come from the ceiling, and then I got to use what you have. I remember when I first started. Thank God for Vera and her sister. Them two sisters, oh God. And Lorraine Adams and Vera Reed. They started out when we had this, was just started, and sometimes things were blurry, and I was in my dining room with my first broadcast, and it was Dr. Robert C. Jiggets, and we were sitting at the table, okay? They were on there. I only had like 12 people for a long time. I was so glad to get past 7. I didn't know what to do with myself. And we had to go through a loop of things to get on there for people to get on. Thank God for the young man, and I'm going to say this with a great deal of respect and honor. Leonard Palmer, he had a vision. He said, well, we got to get this going. I thank God for him. And he sat there, he sat it up. He said, no, that's too much glare. We had to put things over the window and stuff to keep the, listen, we had to use what we had. He said, this is what you want to do? Well, this man can't make it happen. We used what we had. And even though it wasn't the most professional to anybody else, we made it work. But because we gave it excellence for what we had. He didn't just throw it together, he put his very best touch to it. So to Leonard Palmer, we need to salute him, put some hearts and emojis in and all of those things. Put all of that in there, okay? Because he's been with me the whole time, all right? He helped this to come to pass. He put the things together. When you look at Elder Pyle, Shepherdess Pyle, Power Surge Ministries, and you see what she's done all of those things by herself. She got out there, she learned what she had to do. I'm saluting these people. They did it. They had to take the time to do it. They just didn't sit there. They did it. Utilizing what they have. You sit at the bottom, you ran around that mountain long enough. It's time to turn north. Wow. That's a blessing. Okay? And I hope he's able to see all these things that will encourage his heart. Okay? Elder Powell, the same thing. They put Elder Emily on Facebook, and the hits back was tremendous. Was tremendous. They were tremendous. Excuse me. They were tremendous. And so now they all know who the chief prayer warrior is, Emily. When Sarah's on Facebook, she gets tremendous respect because she took the time to write the book. Utilize what you have. I remember somebody came in, oh, she got about 3 or 4 errors in the book. I said, okay, we can correct that. Did you go there? Oh, no. But then why did you only brought it up because instead of saying, let me go to her and say, hey, I see it's some error right here. If you get in, just change this when you do your next set of books. Go in and have this changed so you can have it. Because everybody doesn't see your success the same. Everyone's not going to see what you're doing and make it worthwhile. They want to find things that will pull you down. They're the buzzards. They look big as an eagle, look almost like an eagle when they soar, but they're only sitting down waiting on you to drop something so they can devour it. I know I hit that up really good. That was good, Ken. That was good. That was good. That was good. Okay. All right. So after how many years of wandering, we now need to know we're in a Kairos moment of transitioning. And we must get this done. We must move in it. Okay, we must. Okay? I cannot begin to share with you the things that we need to do because I'm not you. But as you take the time to prioritize and realign your day. Yesterday, I would not leave until I got certain things done. And I got them done. It was so good to know that I was able to go out and be able to try to enjoy. I had a little thing that had a little hiccup in the road, but even in that, I refuse to let something upset. I gotta get this done. I got what I had to get done during the day. I went out and still made sure I got to enjoy something. And all it was these beautiful plates. I just want to give you how you just make sure you enjoy life. It was a place that had beautiful plates, nice silverware, and a good atmosphere. That's all. Simple. Because I had to take time to breathe. You got to take time to breathe as you come into your now. I know this is making sense to many people on here now. All right? So when you get to the part of where, from Mount Siri, okay, a symbol of delay and wilderness. We don't want to be there. Okay, to the north, I love this so much. I want to make sure I get this in here. To the north toward divine inheritance and breakthrough. You're going somewhere. Where are you going? Toward the north for your divine inheritance and breakthrough. I'm about to possess something. You've circled this long enough. Someone said to me, you know what, now you're only using, you can use more scriptures than that. I said, hey, if you can't, look, if you can't digest the main scripture, it's good to have the backup scriptures. And I love that. And I do, but I'm sharing with you, how can you, can you digest just the first one? Wow. And so I know where you're going. How do we do this? Through obedience through obedience, number one, to a simple but prophetic instruction. Well, are you ready? Somebody just tell me that you're ready. That's all I need to hear you say. I'm ready. It was through obedience to a simple instruction, but prophetic, simple instruction. Ooh, 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 ooh. And it was so simple. I gotta look and see when I see my ready. I'm gonna be on it, all right? Oh. They said it. All right, Tate, you know it. Okay, all right, all right. Well, moving forward, I think that's what they're saying on theirs and Dingo. All right, here is the simple prophetic instruction. Turn. I'm ringing the bell on everybody. Stop your madness to everybody. This bell was for everybody. Yes, it is. You said, you ring that bell one more time. Yes, I will. This bell ring was for everybody. The simple but prophetic instruction, it was just turn. Let me drink some more of this. Black cherry almond. Ooh. Okay. Look, turn. The simple word. Apostle. Okay. Prophetess. It is turn. Oh my God. Nothing else. Turn. Movement began with surrender, not strategy, but turn with a movement. Okay, it began with a surrender. I surrender to turn and be obedient, first of all. I'm obedient to turn. I'm not going to stay, I'm going to turn. It was movement. Not just movement around the mountain. I was listening. The turn was to be obedient and then walk where he wanted me to walk. I had to surrender myself. Turn. Oh, God. Oh, God. Okay, I'm not, when you see things on here like people doing certain things, I don't get involved with that because I don't know people, so that's not for you to reach out and do. Okay, so turn. Movement. It begins with surrender, not strategy. I surrender that you may give me the strength in what I need to do. Oh, that was good. That was good. That is so good. Can I get a witness? Turn. Just get yourself together. Just make some movement. Be obedient. Listen to me. Listen with your inner ear of the Spirit. Turn from whatever you're doing. Turn your ear to me and then surrender that I can give you instructions. That did it for me. Okay, Riley, that did it for me. All right, Riley, I got that in there. All right, Smith? Okay. So when we look at Deuteronomy 2, verse 3, you have circled this mountain long enough. Now turn north. Okay. Isaiah 43, verse 18 and 19. Okay. Forget the former things, but I am doing a new thing. All right. You've circled this mountain long enough. It's very familiar to you, but I'm doing something new. Will you not know it? You've been around the familiar so long, you're not recognizing that I'm doing something new. Psalm 75, verse 6 and 7. Promotion comes not from the east, west, or south, but God is the judge and gives the promotions. Jesus, Kenneth, Pearman. All right. Genesis 13, 14 through 17, God tells Abraham to look northward. It's a call to vision and inheritance. Ooh. Luke 5, verse 4 and 6 says, Jesus tells Peter to launch into the deep, a directional shift that leads to overflow. All we need to do is be able to be obedient in order to turn in a direction that shifts, that leads to overflow. I'm telling you what I know. That does not mean that you don't have any troubles or struggles that come with those things, because the adversary is ever, he's speaking so in my ear, that's ever always around. There's where new blessings are, there are a new set of demonic forces that try to come up against you. When you have a season of blessings and the enemy is not bothering you, praise God, but stay ready to do battle all over again. You don't take off your armor and say, woo, that's over, I'm just going to take all this off. No, you have to stay ready and stand, ready to do it all over again. Because your adversary is ever coming after you. So when we look at these turn north moments, we're looking at Deuteronomy 2 and 3, the mountain, the wilderness cycles. Okay, some people are in a wilderness cycle, but you're coming out of it. Obedience, possession, and promise. When they're in that when you're in the wilderness cycle, when you come off that exit for turn north, you're north now, it's because you have to be obedient. You have to know that you're going to be in the place of possession and promise. Abraham, Genesis 12, he was in a familiar land. But once he left the familiar land, he led a faith-led journey into legacy. So some of you are leaving your familiar areas, but you're going to be leading a faith-led journey into a legacy. I'm loving this. Ruth 1, okay? Moab lost and grief, all right? Aligned with Naomi, generational redemption. She got an alignment with somebody else, then she had a generational, that caused a generational redemption that took place. Everything we do causes something. There's a shift when we fall in line. I know that to be so. Oh my God. Elijah, let me just get this in here because I don't want to miss none of it. I love it. Elijah, 1 Kings 19, was in a cave of despair. Okay, that was where he was at. That was his cycle, the cave of despair. But he was in that, the shift brought forth stillness and recommissioning. God recommissioned him back out on the field. Paul in Acts 16 blocked from Asia to take the gospel like he wanted to, but Macedonia called Europeans called the European revival. The Macedonians. From him being blocked in one area, it went to a whole nother area. There was a shift because he had to make a move. He had to be obedient. Peter in Luke 5 was in an empty nest. Had to empty his net. Okay, that was his cycle. He kept drawing up an empty net. But when he was obedient to what Jesus said, he had a supernatural harvest. I think that would make sense to a lot of people on here. So when I talk about turning north, it should empower you today. This should be an empowerment to you right now to turn north. Why? Because cycles and delays and dysfunctions always become the issues that we're dealing with right now. We're dealing with cycles of delays and dysfunctions. And you know I'm going to hit that thing up for dysfunction. I got some stuff for that. I just got to wait until the Lord, because I got it already ready. He said not to release it yet. So here it is. The prophetic application for this for you all would be this. Identify patterns that keep repeating, then break agreements and move forward. Identify the patterns that keep repeating, then break that agreement that agreement of what is repeating, and then move forward. Can we just stay right there a moment? I want to see how many people recognize that happens in your life. If you do, put a 14 in. That means, yeah, it has manifest, but by God's grace, I'm going to break that agreement. And we already been divorced from one thing, delays. Thank you for the on point, Beth. Wow. Thank you, Frederica. Thank you, Harris. Horton, thank you. So you all are getting what I'm saying here. Yeah. And usually what happens is that when you're bringing people together for such a time as this, you're always praying that you're getting the folk that really want to make it happen, really want to make this happen in their lives. You're saying, look, I'm not only tired of the cycle, I need to apply this in my life that my business can prosper, my children can prosper. The streaming things that I'm doing, I can prosper in doing that. There's so many things that you can do. On those platforms. So what happens, because you're saying, look, I know there's some things that keep repeating themselves, and I'm noticing them. See, when you ask God to reveal them to you, do not become afraid. Because when it happens, sometimes it hits you so hard, you'll go, oh, wow, I didn't know that was my fault. You say, but it doesn't matter. I'm breaking this agreement, even with myself, and realigning myself with God. And I'm going to change that. And I'm going to start moving forward in what I need to do. I'm going to listen to God and be obedient to what he's called me into. And when I'm not sure, I'm going to seek out good counseling, sound counseling, people of wisdom. There's some people I talk to when I just call and say, this is what God is saying, encouraging them. And I give them words of encouragement, wisdom, empowerment, so they'll know that they're on the right track. They'll say, oh man, Pearman, that was so on time. And we'll talk about life, but I'll make sure I give them what they need to have first. Because they need that because they're on a track. They're moving and they're trying to make sure that they don't fall backwards. And they may say, yeah, because I was just sitting here doing this. I said, well, it's time to get up. So leadership transitions, okay? Discerning who's being raised up and who's being repositioned. Don't mourn expired mantles. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Apostles and bishops and prophets and pastors and evangelists and elders and deacons. Did you hear that, intercessors? Ooh, I gotta get me one of those gavels. Bam! Give me a gavel. Yes, Lord. That's what I need, a gavel. Okay. Did you hear what I'm saying? This is very powerful. I pray somebody caught this right here. Somebody said on point. Thank you, Williams. Brenda Williams, thank you for catching that. Okay. Discern who's being raised up and who's being repositioned is very important. Some people are being repositioned and there's others that are being raised up. Oh, God. And those of you that are being raised up, stop holding back. Stop shrinking back when God is trying to bring you forward. I was getting ready to call some people's names. See how you have to ask God to govern your tongue? Okay. All right. Discern who's being raised up and who's being repositioned. Okay. But don't mourn expired mantles. Oh my. Oh my God. I know I got some people that really understand this. And you know, it's really funny for me, and I want to say this because those of you that are doing your stuff on the internet and streaming, gamers and podcasters, and you sometimes say, oh, I wish they were the right people on. They're on. They may not show themselves. They're on. And they're screaming in the background saying, whoa, where did you get that from? I'm just one to go in and say, hey, that's a good word. People hide out. But I'm telling you, that was a good word right there. And I won't go any further because the Lord said I couldn't, because there's a reason why he said I couldn't. But so economics uncertainty is another thing. Trust divine provision over familiar systems, sow into new ground. You know, when the ground is being tilled and you're moving into some new areas, begin to sow into it, it makes a difference. Oh, God, I'm so excited about what he's doing. People, I almost want to turn around. Okay. Shalom moment. You better get that in there. You know you hit that up right, Beth. You hit that right. Okay, so here we go. Let me continue to go on. So, you know how we just stay into the old familiar system? You know, I'm going to do it this way, and that's the only way I'm going to do it. I'm not going to try nothing new. Well, you got to trust the divine provision and ask God to show you what that divine provision is over that familiar system. And then ask God to show you how to sow into something new, whether it's a new product, maybe it's something. I don't know about stocks, but you may know somebody that does. They can show you how to do it. So that's for making sure I say you have to find someone who knows how to do all of those things. But ask him, how do you sow into this new ground that he's giving you to sow into? It may be a different project. Maybe it's whatever it is. Maybe the new ground is how you're going to sow to save money for food. Because in these next months, if you don't pay attention, I always tell people, get your paper goods, all your toiletries, stock up on all those things. You know, people laugh at me a little bit, but I'm sharing with you, you need to do that. I don't care if you have toiletries, it's all in there, and you don't have no more room, but you're going to need it. You'll see. You're going to need to have all that stuff. And sometimes it's not that it's not available, the price is going to be so high, okay? It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. That's all I need to say to you. There's a lot going on. And that's all. All right. So relational misalignment. Let's go to that. You're going to see that some of your alignments are going to have expired ties. Align with destiny helpers and covenant relationships. You know, sever those expired ties. Some of them, you know, they're over. You still hold on to folks that don't want to be bothered. And some of them made it known to you they don't want to be bothered. So when people did that to me, they didn't even understand. This is probably what shocked most people, especially this year when the Lord was dealing with me about this new year, 5785. Okay, because, you know, I held on to what God spoke. And when they said it was over, or they gave that don't bother me, and the Lord said, don't bother them, period. They severed the tie. You didn't. I was like, but God, you know, I'm always open. And I'm telling you this is what he did with me. And I said, but I'm always open. He said, they did it to you. You keep going back to them. Oh, all right, preachers, who on here is listening to me? All right, prayer warriors, who understand what I'm talking about? Stop your madness. He says some of them are playing games with your feelings because they know that you have a heart for God, and when they get ready, they'll utilize it when they want to. You can say, well, they didn't know that. Yes, they do. And you're supposed to come around when they get ready for you to come around. That means they don't respect the anointing on your life. Do I need to go deeper? Can I go deeper? The Lord said, yes, you can. That's because they don't go any. Listen, you're praying, you're fasting, you're believing God for whatever it is. You never stop believing for what God is doing in their life. You learn to adjust to who they are. How about that? And you've learned to love them where they are and allow God to take them where they need to be. But they only recognize you when they need the anointing off of your life. They didn't see what you poured into it. They didn't understand what God was doing in your life toward them and why there was a covenant relationship. You were a destiny helper toward them. They took it as, hey, you know what? So what? They didn't even understand that a part of their destiny was in your mouth. Am I talking right here today? They didn't understand that, or they did understand it, but they took you for granted. Now let me talk to the pastors. You got this right in my spirit. I'm giving it right to you. They refused. Listen, what they got from you, they can get from anybody, but that's not so. So we built not only covenant relationships, but heartfelt relationships. And they just misused what they had from the heart in you. And then God said to me, when it severed it, you do not have to deal with that again. This time you don't have to deal with it again. Stop. Because every time you're the one to go and do so and so and so and so. I didn't instruct you always to do that. You did that out of your love for the soul because you knew what they were called to do. You knew what they were called to do. You moved past everything that had happened and went directly to saying, hey, you got to get this together. He said they've been around long enough to know better. And that's how some of you've done. You've been around these relationships and the ties have expired. Matter of fact, they expired before you realized it because they had told everybody else it had expired. If they don't recognize what God has given to you between them, you better recognize it. And if they don't pay it any attention and they hold it like it's nothing, you can't hold it like it's nothing. You go on to the next thing. God has people that are your destiny helpers and are really glad to be in a covenant relationship. All right, everybody to understand that, put a 57 in. It's time for God's grace and his completion and a new order. I got a prayer partner that said, don't use that word friend so freely. I won't forgive me. It's at an altar. Something happened at an altar. I said, did I ever call you my friend? Where did I say you were my friend? Okay? I'm giving you something that works. So that's that 12. We've got to have new order. And there's got to be a unity within ourselves. And it took me for a loop. I'm always the one. Don't worry. He said, no. And if they lie, I'm giving you what the Lord said to me. And when they lie about something, you tell the truth. Say, no, that ain't what happened. This is what happened. And keep moving. You don't have to mistreat them. You don't have to do anything like that. Keep moving. And if God wants that relationship to come back, it'll be because they did it the right way and not behind the back of something else. Some of you, your anointing is too strong, very powerful. When you're walking with people like some of you, you're so anointed in your prayer, so anointed in your wisdom and your giving and the power of who you are, and you've expressed and have given yourself and just having fun. They just, you have just been that person. And people don't realize who you are. And they just walk around like, hey, it don't matter, you'll be here tomorrow. No, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. Not because I'm going to die. I got to continue to move on. Somebody ought to give me a high five. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Bam. There you go. So there's that relational misalignment that we've been in, that he's changing. Some people don't want to, and you have to get it in your spirit and say it's okay. Because you have been the cover. Remember this, as an intercessor, as a lead person, you have been the cover for many people. All right? Oh my God. Can we just go into this a little more? Somebody say go into it a little more. I need to break this down. You turning north at the right time. This is really good. Thank you for the on point. All right, Jordan. I know that's right. All right, Harris said, go into it. Okay, so here we go. When you're the intercessor and you're the one that covers people in prayer, one thing that people forget, and I'm saying this is the truth, okay? This is the truth, and I want people to understand the truth of this. This is not a cockiness. This is none of those things. As intercessors, as prayer warriors, because that's what we're called to do. I don't care what calling you have, to be a bishop, apostle, anything else. You must be an intercessor. You must be able to pray, okay? So as an intercessor, you're called to intercede on behalf of other people. You're interceding on behalf of your friends, your relatives, interceding on behalf of your church, the pastor, the leaders, all of those things. And leader pastors are interceding on behalf of their members, the whole 9 yards community, so forth and so on. Listen, you stand as you stand between the pillar and the porch, the altar, okay? You hold on the horns of the altar for people. You be stand as a wall, all right, as a defense wall of prayer. And so those attacks that come, you're sheltering them from those attacks. You're not Jesus. I want to make that clear. So you're taking on attacks because you're covering other people. You're covering a situation. You're covering a person that's maybe sick that can't pray for themselves. So you're standing in the gap, okay? So you're taking on some of those attacks. People don't realize that you've covered them from major attacks. And when you build even deeper relationships with them, listen to this, you may even know that they're in a very bad state. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. You know they're in a bad state. You would not ever reveal what they're into. And you still cover them in prayer. That's why they haven't fallen as deep as they could fall. And you've covered them until they can get through whatever it is that they're getting through. Hello, somebody. Hello, somebody. Hello, somebody. And then what they don't realize is when you move from that place, there's something that's moved from them also. There's a layer that has been removed. When you move from that place, there's a layer that's been removed. They may not ever tell you the attack that is taking place in their lives. They may not ever tell you what is missing in their lives, but it's because you're no longer in their life praying those prayers that you were praying before. Now, I know I got people on here that really understand exactly what I'm saying. Now, where's that? I got a book here. Let me get it right here. She'll probably be here. Let me look at this book. I know I got one. One lady, she's not going to make it. I'm so upset. But Rochelle Lee has The Intercessory Cry in the Midst of the Storm. And she has one called Biblical Paths. She has these 2 books. She'll probably be here to do these books. But I'm saying this for a reason. Because true intercessors understand the power of what they're interceding for. Okay? Stay calm. It's like when you move, your mother covers you, your father covers you. When you move from their covering and what they have prevented from happening in your life, you feel that difference. Oh, you feel it. You know the difference. I thank God for some people to understand what I'm saying. When you move out of place, you know you were in a good church. I tell people, you know you were in a church that covered you. There was a lady who wanted to join my church. I will never forget it. I told her she could come to get, what is that, when you want to get some substance, because where she was going didn't have none of the things that we were doing. But the relationship she had with her pastor was phenomenal. I said, God has you there for the relationship that you have with your pastor. You can't come here. She said, but I mean, you got so much. I said, I can feed you this as you come when we have services, but you need to be at your home church. I said, when you leave there, you're going to lose something very important that God has given you that you're getting from your leader that I won't be able to give you. She told me many years later she was grateful that that's what I spoke to her. And she came on Sunday afternoons, or she'd come on a Tuesday night, and she would come on and when we had a class or something. But she always remembered that I gave her the correct information, because what her pastor gave her, I could not give her or her family. But what she needed to sustain her, I could. So many of us have left churches that God has really graced. You couldn't get all that you needed because the destiny of that person was in your leader's mouth. Unless it was something that was really bad yet. It was time, all of that. But some of you, when you said it was time, it wasn't time. It was that you needed to get the information, get all the stuff together, and be an extension. Because what are you doing? I've never met so many people leave the church and have nowhere to go. Wandering at the foot of the mountain. Get mad. And all you talking about, I'm blessed and highly favored. You are blessed, you are favored, but you're still at the foot of the mountain circling. All right, let's move on. Spiritual stagnation. Oh, Lord, I got to finish. My time is up. Oh, boy. But I can do this last one. It's spiritual stagnation. Reignite hunger. Don't camp around past revelations. God is doing a new thing. I think I got that in real good. I thank you, Lord, for giving me the time for that. Reignite hunger. Let the Lord reignite your hunger. Don't camp around the past revelations. God is doing a new thing. So you're on here today. My question to you is, has anything I've spoken today come alive in you that you know that there's some things you do need to change? There's some doors that you know God has closed, and you do understand there's some doors that have opened that you must go through. If so, I need you to put in a 54. When you put that 54 in, we're going to go to the next piece. Now, tomorrow is a holiday. I believe I'm going to take the holiday off. Okay? Whew. Thank you, Riley. Wow. All right, Facebook. Hey, Betty Carter, I'm praying for your auntie. I want you to know that. That's one that you know I'm praying for her. I'm praying. And that read, thank you all. Oh my God. Okay. Wow. All right. Oh, okay. Thank you, tubers. Thank you. Thank you. So, all right, that 54 represents the grace of God and the manifestation, which equals a 9 of birthing and fulfillment. I'm just letting you know you're going to birth this. It's going to be fulfilled. And as we move through this month of July, I must get you through. I know it's a summer month. You're going to be taking vacations. But even in that, I want you to have a great time knowing that God has something that he's placed within you. You're not going to lose it because you're on vacation. You're not going to lose it because you have to take time with your family. None of that. I'm going to show you how to enjoy your life and be able to still get done what God has called you to do, because that's what it's about. You got what I'm saying here? Now, of course, you know I'm going to ask you, because I'm excited about the plan that the Lord has given me about reaching souls. Everybody, just get ready to sow. This is a new ground of souls. To reach the heart of a man is to win his souls. What shall it profit a man to gain his whole wide world and lose their only soul? God's not willing that any should perish, but that all should come unto repentance. And yes, I am a soul winner just like you are. And my prayer is that you would partner with me in reaching the heart of men to reach their soul. They say a mind wastes, and that is true, and a soul is a terrible thing to be lost. And so I believe in God with the mind and the soul that God is going to allow us to reach these particular people in these particular areas with the help of the people of God. I need that support from you today. And you can partner with me with your 20, with your 10, But I need for you to just share in that today with an overwhelming flood of sowers today. Just sowing, 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 sowing. As you do so, I know that the ground has already been tilled. It's ready for your seed to come in, and the harvest return is already in return mode as soon as you sow the seed. Those of you that are already sown, thank you. And there were many of you that sow and say, look, I want to bless you that you can get as many souls as you possibly can. Because every time you've sowed, it has helped me reach the goal that I need to reach. And I'm believing God that by the time we get ready to set it on next week, I can be able to tell you what we're about to do and have it already in order. That's my goal. That's my plan as far as what the Lord has spoken, and I want to be able to carry it out. I just need your support, people. I need your support just to get it on to get it on the ground. All right, to get it on the ground and let it start to take up some wheels. Oh, yeah. And with your help, I can do it. I can do it with the help of the people of God as we work to get this kingdom job done. It is a kingdom work that God has given us, and I need your support to do it. Thank you in advance for sharing and sowing. As many of you that can, as you see on the bottom of your screen how to sow, please do so. It will make the difference in what we are doing. I need your support. I know we can do it, and it shall come to pass. I just know it. And I'm excited because I've already got some things that have come in. Yes, that have already come in to prepare for what we are about to do in the next segment of some things for the souls. And then I want to thank God for people who took the time to sponsor somebody for this event. Oh my God, thank you so much. And it was not because it was just, I want to sponsor somebody. I couldn't be there, but I'm sponsoring someone. I lift my hands and I'm giving God praise. Amen. So I'm so excited about that. So thank you. And I want to share with you as you're sowing today. May God turn around the stagnation that we were once in. Some of you have been saying, I want to sow. Some of you want to sow even more than that because you feel the pull. You're a soul winner. This is my final thing, and I want to end with this. I'm Baptist, I get 3 more times in. But anyway, I'm always moved by the early days of deliverance with Pastor, or the apostle, late apostle Terrell Skinner. And his words were always soul winning. And you could sit in church and maybe not want to do anything at all at deliverance. But when he said souls, I could not forget how people would open up and they would give for the souls. Because he would not stop. Whatever it took to reach souls, that's what he did. Oh my God. And what a tremendous account to his life, the souls that he won for Christ. Now, that was one that protected a city like nobody would ever think that he did. He was a lead person of the city. And I do mean a blanketer for the state of New Jersey. As well as there were other gatekeepers, but he was a true charged gatekeeper. And when he left this earth, there was a big void. And that void is still there, okay, in that area. But I do know that God is raising up men and women. And I remember as God raised them up, you have to be able to fulfill whatever. And that's why we have to pray about where God placed us. Whatever these men that have gone on to be with the Lord and women who have gone on to be with the Lord in these communities, these states, these cities, these towns, we don't do our research to find out what tests did they maybe not pass, or what particular battle were they under, were they facing? Because when you find out their battles for their city, their state, their region, you'll understand why your battle has been so strong as you have come in to lead in a community. I don't care if you're a politician, a doctor, a lawyer, or just someone about to open up a business, and God gave you a business that's supposed to be where it is branched out to other areas. There is a reason when you're in certain areas that some things don't begin to prosper as they should, because you have to do the history to find out what has been the holdup for businesses like yours. Not just the restaurant business, the mindset of opening a business like what God has shown you. I just gave you a pearl right there. So I just want you to begin to sow into what I've just spoken. That was a pearl. If that made sense to you and open up a well to you, please put in the number 18 again. That 18 is, that one is an addition. New beginnings, because you said now I can look at it differently. And that one make 9 for birthing and fulfillment. I will birth and fulfill what God has given me. Young man or young lady, you are doing something. Whether you're a gamer, a podcaster, or you're getting ready to enter into college, you're going to make the difference. You are going to make the difference. That's right. Tap your grandson and say, listen what the man of God's saying. You're going to make the difference. And even if you're sitting there because you feel like you have no hope, you have hope. God has something in you that's going to make the difference. So until we come together again on Sunday, I'll be back here Sunday morning for a Spiritual Warriors table. I thank you in advance for your sowing. Thank you for following. Thank you for supporting. But I need for you to make sure you get up, wash your face, brush your teeth, comb your hair all the way out. You can wear your holiday hair all weekend if you want to. And guess what else? Put your teeth in if you want to, and you don't have to wear them if you don't want to. You're coming into a holiday weekend. Do what you need to do. And don't forget to like, share, follow, and subscribe. All right? Please do that. And until we get together Sunday, have a blessed and prosperous weekend. Bye for now.